Welcome to Expert Views on ADR Ever, a podcast about simplifying the traditional African method of settling disputes or the appropriate dispute resolution ADR in a bid to attract more users to settle their disputes or conflicts with arbitration, ombuds, mediation, collaborative law, restorative justice, early dispute resolution, negotiation, conciliation, and of course, early neutral evaluation. My name is DrChinweEgbunike, the host of Expert Views on ADR. I'm delighted to welcome Professor Emilia Onyema to the EVA show. She is the director of SOAS University of London Arbitration and Dispute Resolution Center and a professor of international commercial law at SOAS University of London. Prof is a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, and she's qualified to practice law in Nigeria and as a solicitor in England and Wales. She wears many hats, so I've left the link to her profile below. Welcome to the show, Prof.
Thank you very much, Chinwe. Hello, everybody.
It's such an honor to have you. So without further ado, the first question is, what is arbitration and its role in conflict resolution?
Well, arbitration is one of the mechanisms for resolving cross-border disputes. And it is popular in resolving cross-border disputes, but you can also use it to resolve domestic disputes, and it's quite popular in the resolution of commercial disputes. The idea is, if you think along the lines of private litigation, if you like, in the sense that you have an independent third party who is a neutral and completely independent of the parties, who resolves the dispute. It's adjudicatory in nature, in the sense that the arbitrator does not just pull a decision out of her heart, his or her heart, but actually hears the parties, and the parties would set out their claims and the responses or the defense to those claims. And the arbitrator would apply an identified law and make a determination, a binding determination on, for the parties. So if you sort of think about it, it almost simulates litigation, what happens in court processes where that is adjudicatory as well.
Okay, thank you so very much. Can you simplify what cross-border disputes is or are?
Well, cross-border disputes is any dispute that transcends one jurisdiction or one territory or one state. And so if, for example, you have a Chinese construction company that comes into Nigeria to construct a major road, that sort of transaction is cross-border because, of course, it engages the Chinese company that is domiciled in China and the Nigerian party that is in Nigeria. So that sort of dispute would be cross-border.
Okay, thank you so very much. So can you elaborate on the background and the purpose of the SOAS University of London Arbitration and Dispute Resolution Center and how it operates?
Thank you so very much. SOAS Arbitration and Dispute Resolution Center, even though it is SADRC, the acronyms, it is not a SOAS Alternative Dispute Resolution Center. It is a SOAS Arbitration and Dispute Resolution Center. It is, and the reason why the name is deliberately chosen that way is because most of us who do research and practice and teach arbitration at SOAS very much believe that arbitration is not an ADR, is not an alternative dispute resolution mechanism, but mechanisms such as mediation are alternatives to arbitration as an adjudicatory process. And that very much informed our thinking around the name of the center. So we wanted to ensure that arbitration as a distinct dispute resolution mechanism is properly attributed in the name or in the naming of the center. And so to come to what SADRC does, so the center was conceived to engage and help us pull together the research that we do on arbitration and other dispute resolution mechanisms within SOAS, to pull all of that into one umbrella, pull all of that into the umbrella of the center, and to sort of enable us have a distinct regime that we can do more, if you like, with under the umbrella of the center. So the main objective or objectives of the center include promoting research in various dispute resolution mechanisms, continuing our teaching and excelling in our teaching, and then knowledge exchange work that we already do. And that is, so if you sort of look at our website, we mention arbitration, litigation, mediation, and other dispute resolution methods. The major difference, of course, is that our research, our teaching, and our knowledge exchange activities have a particular emphasis on the SOAS regions, and our SOAS regions of teaching and research is Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. But that doesn't mean that we don't do work in other regions, even in SOAS. We do work in other regions, but the emphasis is the global South. And so that's so the key thing to bear in mind is that it's not an arbitration institution. We don't administer arbitration cases.
Okay.
We do research, we do teaching, and we do knowledge exchange, which primarily involves training. And our research includes the work that we do around surveys, questionnaires, and original research to pull in original data from various jurisdictions.
Oh, okay, thank you so very much. So what were some of the challenges faced during the establishment of the center?
Well, we've been wanting to set up a center for a very long time. But one of the things with setting up a center ultimately is funding. You need funding to set up the center. So it was important that we were able to satisfy the senior management at SOAS that even without having major funding at the stage where we started the center, that the work that the center would do, so the center does consultancies, reviews of laws and rules for arbitration institutions and other forms of engagement for which we would be paid for those services. And that way the center would be able to fund its activities and not be a burden on the university. So the primary challenge we faced was a question of funding to get us off the ground. But now we are off the ground, and the good thing with being able to function virtually is that the vast majority of our activities we can do, and we do virtually.
Okay, thank you so very much. So, was there significant interest in ADR, particularly in arbitration? Hence, the center was established or founded.
Yes. So one of the things we noticed for us is that there is a huge gap, that again, bearing in mind the regional focus of the work and the teaching that we do at SOAS. And it's engaging the Global South, the voices of members of the Global South, into the engagement and discussions and jurisprudence of international arbitration, both commercial and investment.
Yeah.
And we want to be a gateway of ensuring that those voices are actually heard and that those voices can contribute to the development of the law, practice, and knowledge in this area of the law.
Thank you so very much. So how far has ADR enhanced access to justice in the United Kingdom?
Well, I think if we just sort of look at very recent developments, and those developments include the reforms of the English arbitration, the proposals of the Law Commission for the reform of the English Arbitration Act, and the push towards allowing parties or the courts getting parties to seriously consider alternatives to litigation, primarily mediation, trying to see if they can resolve their dispute and outside of the court system. Recent case law to that effect, looking at support for and the increase in third-party funding providers. It's true that there is discussions around their regulation, and we've had some case law that seem to have been a drawback to some of that. But there is that recognition in the UK, and there is a clear judicial and government policy towards the promotion of arbitration, the support for arbitration. And it would be, I think one can see the supportive nature of the English courts. Being a Nigerian, it would be remiss of me not to talk about the Nigeria versus P&ID decision, which Nigeria was just basically saved, coughing out. Actually, the Nigerian citizens were saved billions of dollars by virtue of that supportive tendency of the English courts. And again, using that to showcase that for arbitration to thrive as a question of access to justice and a tool for justice delivery, we must have, courts that are watchful, that are available to participate in that process, to ensure that ultimately justice is delivered through those processes. So I think that arbitration in the UK is quite healthy. And I think that with the proposals coming out of the Law Commission, that it would get healthier, if that is if that's the way I can express it. It would get healthier. It should enhance and provide greater access to justice via arbitration, and then enable the courts not to interfere but to support the process before, during, and after an award has been rendered.
Wow, okay, thank you so very much, Prof. So going back to the center, how has the center benefited or benefit the general public and the SOAS community?
So one of the things that we're very keen to do is public engagement with issues that relate or that are relevant to arbitration and to alternative dispute resolution processes. And so each week, every Tuesday evening, we have a webinar. We have an online event. So we have an online event the evening of the first Tuesday of every month, that focuses on mentoring and work-life balance for those involved in in arbitration and dispute resolution generally. And then the second Tuesday is dedicated to students. We have student members of our management committee, and they organize various events that that would speak to students doing arbitration and alternative dispute resolution, or dispute resolution generally across the globe, that anybody can join any of those events and learn more about those processes. And then the third Tuesdays, it's a reading group. And what we do with the reading group is in recognition of the fact that a lot of people don't read primary materials anymore. They read summaries that law firms have produced or online or blogs, but they don't read the primary material. So what we do is during our reading group evenings is we allocate a reading a month ahead of time, and we come in and we engage with it. And we have somebody who moderates each of these evenings. And then the fourth week of each month, the fourth Tuesday evening of each month, we have a webinar that is dedicated to mediation and negotiation, and how issues around those. And so we meet on Teams from 6 o'clock in the evening every Tuesday evening.
And so no face-to-face?
No, well, why it's not face-to-face is because when we do this as an online event, we have members of the center, because again, it's a membership-based organization, even though membership is free of charge. But we have members, and our members are scattered all over the world. And we have speakers coming from different parts of the globe. And so the easiest way for us to pull people together and to achieve our primary aim, which is, again, dissemination of knowledge, research via the center, the best way for us to do that is to do it online. So you can sit in the comfort of your home in whichever country you are in, and you just log on and you're able to engage freely.
All right. Okay, thank you. So how does the center promote diversity and inclusivity?
Well, that is massively important to us. And so at various levels. So as it relates to gender, for example, we have a female director of the center, which is yours truly, speaking with you. And we have a male deputy director who is one of our professors of practice. On our management committee, we have both male and female. And so gender-wise, we're quite keen. And even when we invite people to speak, if we have a male speaker, we try to have a female moderator. If we have a female speaker, we try to have a male moderator. The other thing is we also engage with our younger colleagues, because that is really important to every single member of our management committee. We're very keen to promote and give a platform to our younger practitioners and younger colleagues. And that's what's informed not just the reading group, but this session, the Tuesday that is dedicated to students and is run by our young colleagues, by our students. And so we then also pull in voices from across the globe. So for example, the materials we choose for our reading comes from various jurisdictions. And it's not just English law that we look at. We sort of look at global issues and writings from different jurisdictions. In SOAS, we're quite keen on decolonization of our curriculum and decolonization of the work and that we do and the teaching that we do, and the people that we read, because whoever you read influences your thinking and engagement with any subject. So sort of pull in speakers from across the globe. And all of that is our own contribution towards inclusivity, and this is around diversity.
Diversity. Okay, thank you so very much. So what steps does the center take to promote or educate potential users about the benefits associated with ADR?
So what we do is it goes back to the primary tool for now that we use are the weekly webinars that we do, and we don't record our webinars. The idea being to get people to attend. So one of the things we do is after each webinar, we get our younger colleagues again who would provide a summary of what was discussed. What that does for our younger colleagues is that we publish those on our LinkedIn page, and it's they are acknowledged. It's attributed to them because it's their work, which is good. We sort of also review the write-up before we publish. That way we give them some feedback. We're helping them improve their writing skills. And so for now, primarily the webinars, that's the tool that we use for now. And then we're going to have funded research projects that we would work on. And again, we would make those reports available to the general public. So the outputs from the center would be available to the general public. We also then welcome researchers outside or within the UK who want to do some research under the auspices of the center at SOAS. And we welcome those as long as they're relevant to the work of the center. We also welcome them as well to engage with us.
Okay. Do they have to be funded or?
Well, what we have is for those sort of research fellows, and we have a scheme within the department because our center is part of the School of Law. And so we have requirements under the School of Law, which they need to satisfy. Basically, they complete a form, which we support as a center that would be willing to host them, and then they can come. It's usually when they want to come in to do some research, use our library, use our facilities, and engage with members of our center and colleagues. That is useful to them.
Okay, all right, thank you so very much. So what is the future of international legal research via podcasting on particularly in an ADR?
I think you're one of those who started and who's been consistent and steadfast with pulling in information and data via podcasting. So it's a tool for research. And what we then need to understand is how effective a tool it is for research. And so there might be need to study those who do podcasts using specifically for research and how it's beneficial for research. Ultimately, we want to be able to access data, information that we can then put together, we can analyze, we're able to disseminate, and how we do that. And so if we think of podcasts as another tool for research, the question then becomes, how can we optimize that tool? Because at least we can record, just like we're doing. We can record whether audio, whether in writing, whether video. We have a recording of that information that we've now received. And so the question then becomes maybe the criticality of the questions that are being asked and the responses, and how those are analyzed and put together in a publishable form. And then that publishable form can also be whether by video, by audio, or in writing. So what podcasts will do for us is broaden the avenues through which we access information and through which we gather data and through which we disseminate research, because of course we have a record of it and we can retain that record. So I think the work that you're doing is laudable. I think that the work you're doing can only be improved upon. So thank you.
Well, thank you so very much, Prof. Of course, this is a masterclass. I appreciate your perspective, insights, and the learning you shared with us today. And of course, I believe the members of the public within and outside UK would, of course, embrace all you have stated herein and apply to become members of the SOAS Arbitration.
It's very straightforward.
Resolution Center.
Yes.
Yeah.
They just need to, if they just do a search, Google search of the SOAS Arbitration, but you have to type everything out. SOAS Arbitration and Dispute Resolution Center, it will take you onto our website. And if you just scroll down, you see become a member, you just complete the form. And the idea with completing the form is so that we have your contact information and we send out the weekly newsletters of all our events and any news items that we have. And we have a LinkedIn page, so people can follow us on LinkedIn or sign up to be, I don't know what it's called on LinkedIn, but to get information from us on LinkedIn, to connect.
It's a newsletter. It's a newsletter.
And then to connect with us on LinkedIn, so that way they know what is going on, and they're most welcome to participate on any of our Tuesday evening events. And if they also have ideas and things and they want us to host them, we would be very happy to discuss that with them.
Okay, thank you so very much, Prof. Just did we talk about training courses? Do you offer training courses?
Yes, we do. So in 2023, for example, we had done a major counsel in arbitration skills-based training. And we had done that in 8 African countries, and it was a lot of travel that we did, because we do our trainings in country. And so we can do bespoke trainings that are designed for a particular organization or a particular group of people. We do that, and we have access to colleagues in the profession, internationally renowned, who would be quite happy to share their knowledge and to support that. So yes, we do train.
Okay, all right. Thank you so very much, Prof. Take care. Bye. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.